Emotions are a natural and essential part of being human. They guide our decisions, shape our interactions, and influence our well-being. However, one of the biggest mistakes people make when dealing with emotions is trying to suppress or ignore them. This often leads to bottled up feelings that can later explode in unhealthy ways or manifest as stress and anxiety. The first and most important step in controlling emotions is to acknowledge them fully. Acknowledging emotions means recognizing what you are feeling without judgment. Many times, people tend to push away emotions they deem negative, such as anger, sadness, frustration, or jealousy. Society often reinforces this by encouraging people to stay strong or get over it. However, every emotion, whether positive or negative, serves a purpose. Anger can signal that something is unfair. Sadness can indicate a need for healing, and fear can act as a warning system. Instead of resisting these feelings, it is important to pause and observe them. One effective way to do this is to name the emotion. Simply identifying what you feel, whether it is disappointment, resentment, excitement, or anxiety, helps bring clarity to your inner state. Saying to yourself, "I am feeling overwhelmed right now," or "I am experiencing sadness," can create a sense of awareness and control. Studies show that labeling emotions helps reduce their intensity by shifting activity from the emotional centers of the brain to the logical thinking areas. It is also important to recognize the triggers behind emotions. Emotions do not arise randomly. They are often responses to specific situations, thoughts, or memories. By identifying what triggered an emotional response, you gain insight into your patterns and behaviors. For example, if you find yourself becoming irritated every time you receive feedback at work, there may be an underlying fear of failure or rejection that needs to be addressed. Understanding the root cause of your emotions gives you the power to work through them rather than be controlled by them. Another helpful approach is self-compassion. Many people judge themselves for feeling a certain way, thinking that they should not be sad, anxious, or angry. However, emotions are neither right nor wrong, they simply exist. Instead of criticizing yourself for feeling a certain way, try to show kindness to yourself. Imagine how you would treat a close friend who is going through the same emotions. Would you tell them to just stop being sad or get over it? Or would you offer them support and understanding? Practicing this same level of compassion toward yourself can make a huge difference in how you process emotion. Journaling can also be a powerful tool for acknowledging emotions. Writing down what you feel allows you to process emotions in a structured way, helping you release them instead of suppressing them. It creates a space where you can explore your thoughts without fear of judgment. Similarly, talking to a trusted friend, therapist, or mentor can provide perspective and validation, making emotions feel less overwhelming. Ultimately, acknowledging emotions is about giving yourself permission to feel without letting those emotions define you. It is the first step toward emotional control because it allows you to face your feelings head-on instead of being caught off guard by them. One of the most effective ways to control emotions is by practicing deep breathing and mindfulness. When emotions run high, they can take over our thoughts and actions, making it difficult to think rationally. This happens because strong emotions, especially negative ones like anger, fear, and anxiety, activate the body's stress response. The heart rate increases, breathing becomes shallow, and the mind starts racing with thoughts that often make the situation feel even worse. In such moments, deep breathing and mindfulness serve as powerful tools to bring the body and mind back to a state of balance. Deep breathing works by directly influencing the nervous system. When we take slow, deep breaths, we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for relaxation and calmness. This slows down the heart rate, reduces muscle tension, and lowers cortisol, the stress hormone. A simple technique to try is diaphragmatic breathing, also known as belly breathing. This involves inhaling deeply through the nose, allowing the air to fill the belly instead of the chest, and then slowly exhaling through the mouth. Doing this for just a few minutes can create a noticeable shift in how you feel, helping to ground you in the present moment and prevent emotions from spiraling out of control. Mindfulness, on the other hand, is the practice of being fully present in the moment without judgment. Often, when emotions become overwhelming, it is because our mind is stuck in the past or worrying about the future. Regretting something that happened or fearing what might happen next can intensify feelings of anxiety, anger, or sadness. Mindfulness brings attention back to the present, allowing emotions to be experienced without being consumed by them. A common mindfulness technique is to focus on the sensations of the present moment. How your breath feels as it moves in and out, the sounds around you, or even the sensation of your feet on the ground. This practice creates a space between you and your emotions, making it easier to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Another helpful mindfulness strategy is body scanning, where you mentally check in with different parts of your body to notice any tension or discomfort. Often emotions manifest physically, a clenched jaw, tight shoulders, or a racing heartbeat. By scanning through the body and consciously relaxing each area, you can release emotional tension that might have built up unconsciously. This simple practice can be done in just a few minutes and is especially effective in moments of stress or frustration. Visualization is another powerful technique that combines deep breathing with mindfulness. When overwhelmed by strong emotions, picturing a calming scene, such as a peaceful beach, a quiet forest, or a warm, glowing light, can help shift the mind's focus away from distress. As you breathe deeply, imagine the tension leaving your body with each exhale and calmness entering with each inhale. This mental exercise not only soothes the nervous system, but also trains the brain to associate deep breathing with a sense of peace, making it easier to return to a calm state when emotions arise in the future. Incorporating these techniques into daily life strengthens emotional resilience over time. It is not just about using deep breathing and mindfulness when emotions feel overwhelming, but making them a habit even during calm moments. Regular meditation, for example, has been shown to rewire the brain, reducing emotional reactivity and improving emotional regulation. Even something as simple as taking a few conscious breaths before responding to a stressful situation can make a significant difference in how emotions are managed. By consistently practicing deep breathing and mindfulness, you create a foundation for emotional control. Instead of letting emotions dictate your reactions, you develop the ability to observe them with clarity, process them with patience, and respond with intentionality. The way we think about situations has a profound impact on how we feel. Our emotions are not just reactions to events, but are largely influenced by the way we interpret those events. When something happens, our mind quickly assigns meaning to it, and that meaning shapes our emotional response. However, this interpretation is not always accurate or rational. It is often distorted by past experiences, fears, insecurities, and deeply ingrained thought patterns. Reframing negative thoughts is a powerful technique that helps in controlling emotions by changing the way we perceive situations, allowing us to respond with a clearer and more balanced perspective. Negative thoughts often arise automatically, without us even realizing it. These automatic thoughts can be exaggerated, irrational, or overly critical. For example, after making a mistake at work, a person might think, "I always mess up. I'm terrible at this job. Everyone must think I'm incompetent." This kind of thinking leads to feelings of anxiety, frustration, and self-doubt. However, if the same situation were viewed differently, the emotional response would change. Instead of dwelling on the thought of failure, the person could reframe it as, "I made a mistake, but mistakes are part of learning. I'll pay more attention next time and improve." This shift in thinking not only reduces negative emotions, but also promotes growth and resilience. One of the most common distortions in negative thinking is catastrophizing, where the mind jumps to the worst possible outcome. A person who receives constructive criticism might immediately assume that they are going to lose their job or that they will never succeed. This kind of thinking heightens emotional distress and makes it difficult to respond rationally. Instead, reframing the thought could involve considering more realistic possibilities. This feedback is meant to help me improve. I can use it to get better at what I do. By consciously choosing a more constructive interpretation, the emotional reaction becomes much more manageable. Another form of distorted thinking is black and white thinking, where situations are viewed in extremes, either entirely good or entirely bad. This type of thinking leaves no room for balance or nuance. For example, if a student does poorly on one exam, they might think, "I'm a complete failure." This thought fuels emotions like sadness, hopelessness, and anxiety, but by reframing it into something more realistic, such as, "I didn't do well on this test, but that doesn't define my entire academic ability," the person can maintain a more balanced emotional state and focus on what they can improve. Personalization is another thought pattern that leads to emotional distress. This occurs when a person takes responsibility for things that are beyond their control. For example, if a friend is in a bad mood, someone might immediately assume it must be because of something I did. This leads to guilt and unnecessary worry. However, reframing the thought to "my friend might be dealing with something unrelated to me" allows for a more reasonable and less emotionally draining perspective. Practicing self-awareness is key to reframing negative thoughts. The first step is noticing when negative thoughts appear and questioning their validity. Asking simple questions like, "Is this thought based on facts or assumptions, or is there another way to look at this situation?" can help break the cycle of negativity. It is also helpful to imagine what advice you would give to a friend in the same situation. Often people are much harsher on themselves than they would be on others. If a friend failed at something, you wouldn't tell them they're worthless. You would encourage them and help them see a more balanced perspective. Applying that same kindness to yourself can significantly reduce emotional distress. Gratitude is another powerful tool in reframing thoughts. When the mind focuses too much on what is wrong, it creates a negative emotional state. Shifting focus to what is going well, even in difficult situations, can change how emotions are experienced. For example, instead of thinking, "Everything is going wrong today," taking a moment to acknowledge something positive, even something small, can bring emotional balance. Reframing negative thoughts is not about ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It is about developing the ability to see situations from a healthier, more constructive perspective. This skill takes time and practice, but the more it is used, the easier it becomes to manage emotions effectively and respond to challenges with clarity and confidence. When emotions are intense, it is easy to react impulsively without thinking things through. A moment of anger, frustration, or anxiety can lead to words or actions that might later be regretted. This is because strong emotions activate the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for the fight or flight response, which often overrides logical thinking. In these situations, taking a pause before reacting is one of the most effective ways to regain control over emotions and respond in a way that aligns with long-term goals and values, rather than temporary feelings. Pausing allows time for the emotional intensity to subside and for rational thinking to take over. When something triggers a strong emotional response, the immediate urge might be to lash out, make a hasty decision, or withdraw completely. However, in most cases, reacting immediately only escalates the situation or creates further problems. Instead of responding in the heat of the moment, taking a few deep breaths, stepping away from the situation, or even counting to 10 can create the space needed to regain perspective. This small delay can make a significant difference in how a situation unfolds. For example, if someone says something hurtful, the immediate reaction might be to snap back with an equally hurtful remark. However, by taking a pause, there is an opportunity to evaluate whether responding in that way is truly beneficial. Will it resolve the issue, or will it create more conflict? Will it help strengthen the relationship, or will it cause harm? When emotions are high, it is difficult to think about these questions in the moment, but even a short pause can provide the clarity needed to choose a response rather than react impulsively. Pausing is especially important in situations involving stress or frustration. For instance, imagine dealing with a difficult situation at work, such as a disagreement with a colleague or a demanding deadline. The initial emotional response might be frustration, leading to an unproductive reaction like snapping at a coworker or panicking over the workload. However, Taking a moment to breathe, step away, and reassess can shift the focus from the emotional reaction to problem solving. Instead of reacting with frustration, the mind can process the situation more clearly and determine the best course of action. In relationships, the power of pausing before reacting is even more crucial. Emotional conflicts often arise in personal relationships, whether with a partner, family member, or friend. During arguments, emotions like anger and hurt can take over, leading to impulsive words or actions that might cause long-term damage. Taking a pause before speaking allows for more thoughtful communication. It provides an opportunity to consider whether what is about to be said is constructive or if it will only escalate the conflict. Even a few seconds of reflection can help in choosing words more carefully and expressing emotions in a way that fosters understanding rather than deepening the conflict. One way to implement pausing effectively is by creating a habit of responding rather than reacting. Reacting is an immediate, often emotion-driven response, while responding involves careful thought and intentionality. Practicing mindfulness can help develop this skill. By becoming more aware of emotional triggers and bodily reactions, such as a racing heart, clenched fist, or shallow breathing, it becomes easier to recognize when an emotional response is forming. This awareness creates the opportunity to pause, take a deep breath, and choose how to proceed. Physical movement can also serve as a way to pause before reacting. Walking away from a tense situation, taking a short break, or even engaging in a brief physical activity like stretching or stepping outside for fresh air can help break the cycle of immediate emotional reactions. These actions create distance between the trigger and the response, giving the mind a chance to process emotions more calmly. Journaling or writing down thoughts before responding can also be a valuable tool. Instead of reacting instantly in a heated conversation or stressful moment, writing out feelings can provide a different perspective. It allows emotions to be expressed in a private space before deciding on the best way to communicate them to others. Many people find that by the time they finish writing, their emotional intensity has decreased, making it easier to address the situation with a clearer mind. Taking a pause before reacting is not about ignoring emotions or avoiding problems. It is about giving emotions the space to settle so that responses are intentional rather than impulsive. With practice, this simple habit can transform the way emotions are handled, leading to better decision-making, healthier relationships, and greater emotional resilience. Emotions are a natural and inevitable part of life, and finding healthy ways to express and process them is essential for mental and emotional well-being. When emotions are suppressed or ignored, they do not simply disappear. Instead, they often build up and manifest in unhealthy ways, such as stress, anxiety, or even physical symptoms like headaches and fatigue. Engaging in healthy outlets provides a way to release emotions in a constructive manner, allowing them to be processed and understood rather than overwhelming the mind. One of the most effective emotional outlets is physical activity. Exercise has been shown to have a profound impact on emotional regulation because it helps release built-up tension and stress while also triggering the release of endorphins, the body's natural mood boosters. Activities such as running, swimming, dancing, or even something as simple as taking a walk can provide an immediate sense of relief when emotions feel overwhelming. Physical movement helps shift focus away from distressing thoughts and allows the body to process emotions in a non-verbal way. Many people find that after engaging in physical activity, their perspective on a situation becomes clearer, and emotions that once felt overpowering become more manageable. Creative expression is another powerful way to channel emotions in a healthy manner. Art, music, writing, and other forms of creative outlets provide an opportunity to externalize emotions in a way that words alone sometimes cannot capture. Painting, drawing, or crafting can be therapeutic, allowing individuals to express complex feelings visually. Music, whether it is playing an instrument, singing, or simply listening to songs that resonate with a particular emotion, can be deeply cathartic. Writing, whether through journaling, poetry, or storytelling, helps to process emotions by putting them into words, making them feel less chaotic and more structured. Many people find that writing about their feelings not only helps them understand themselves better, but also provides a sense of relief, as if they have transferred some of their emotional burden onto the page. Talking to someone about emotions is another essential outlet. Bottling up emotions can make them feel heavier, whereas sharing them with a trusted friend, family member, or therapist can provide validation and perspective. Sometimes simply verbalizing emotions helps to make them feel less overwhelming. Conversations do not always need to be about finding solutions. Sometimes just having someone listen without judgment is enough to bring comfort and clarity. Human connection plays a vital role in emotional well-being, and having a support system to turn to during difficult times can make a significant difference in how emotions are managed. Engaging in mindfulness and relaxation techniques is another healthy way to regulate emotions. Practices such as meditation, deep breathing exercises, and yoga can help bring a sense of calm during emotionally charged moments. Meditation allows the mind to slow down and observe emotions without becoming consumed by them, creating a sense of detachment that makes it easier to manage feelings in a balanced way. Deep breathing exercises help to activate the body's relaxation response, reducing stress and helping to ground emotions. Yoga combines movement with mindfulness, offering both physical and emotional benefits by promoting relaxation, focus, and self-awareness. Spending time in nature can also serve as an emotional outlet. The natural environment has a calming effect on the mind, and activities such as hiking, gardening, or simply sitting outside can help ease emotional tension. The sights and sounds of nature provide a sense of peace, allowing the mind to reset and gain perspective. Many people find that being in nature helps them feel more connected to the present moment, reducing feelings of anxiety and overthinking. Another important aspect of finding healthy emotional outlets is identifying activities that bring joy and fulfillment. Hobbies, whether it be cooking, playing a sport, reading, or engaging in a particular craft, provide a way to shift focus from distressing emotions to something enjoyable and productive. Engaging in activities that bring a sense of accomplishment or relaxation can improve mood and create a healthy balance in life. It is important to make time for things that nourish the soul and provide a break from stress. Self-care routines also play a crucial role in managing emotions. Taking care of oneself physically, emotionally, and mentally creates a foundation for emotional stability. This can include simple acts such as getting enough sleep, maintaining a balanced diet, setting boundaries, or practicing self-compassion. When emotions feel overwhelming, taking a step back and engaging in self-care can help create a sense of control and stability. Ultimately, finding healthy outlets for emotions is about recognizing that emotions need to be expressed and processed rather than suppressed. Everyone experiences emotions differently, so finding what works best on an individual level is key. The goal is not to eliminate emotions, but to create a space where they can be acknowledged, understood, and released in a way that promotes emotional well-being and overall mental health. Developing emotional intelligence is one of the most powerful ways to control emotions effectively. Emotional intelligence refers to the ability to recognize, understand, and manage one's own emotions while also being able to recognize and respond to the emotions of others. It is not about suppressing emotions or avoiding them, but about cultivating a deep awareness of what emotions are, where they come from, and how they influence thoughts and actions. People with high emotional intelligence are better equipped to navigate stressful situations, maintain healthy relationships, and make decisions that align with their values rather than being driven purely by emotional impulses. The first step in developing emotional intelligence is self-awareness. This involves recognizing emotions as they arise, rather than allowing them to take over unconsciously. Many people go through life reacting to emotions without fully understanding them, which can lead to impulsive decisions and unnecessary conflict. Self-awareness means being able to identify emotions in the moment, such as recognizing when stress is building up, when frustration is beginning to rise, or when sadness is starting to take hold. By developing this awareness, it becomes easier to pause and process emotions before they dictate behavior. A useful technique for increasing self-awareness is to regularly check in with oneself throughout the day, asking simple questions like, "What am I feeling right now?" Or, "What triggered this emotion?" Journaling can also be helpful in identifying emotional patterns and understanding how different situations impact mood. The second component of emotional intelligence is self-regulation. Once emotions are recognized, the next step is learning how to manage them in a healthy and constructive way. Self-regulation does not mean ignoring emotions or pretending they do not exist. Rather, it involves channeling emotions productively so they do not lead to destructive behavior. For instance, instead of allowing anger to result in an outburst or a regrettable action, self-regulation helps in finding healthier ways to express that anger, such as through communication, exercise, or creative outlets. It also involves practicing patience and resilience, understanding that emotions, no matter how strong, are temporary and do not have to control decision-making. One effective self-regulation technique is cognitive reframing, which involves looking at situations from different perspectives. If something goes wrong, instead of immediately reacting with frustration or self-criticism, reframing helps shift the focus to what can be learned from the situation and how to move forward. Empathy is another essential aspect of emotional intelligence. It is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, which plays a crucial role in managing relationships and social interactions. When people develop empathy, they are better able to navigate conflicts, communicate effectively, and build meaningful connections. Instead of reacting defensively to someone else's emotions, an empathetic person takes the time to listen and understand where the other person is coming from. This not only strengthens relationships, but also reduces misunderstandings and emotional tension. Developing empathy requires active listening, truly paying attention to others without immediately forming a response or judgment. It also involves being open-minded and considering how others might feel in a given situation, rather than assuming that one's own perspective is the only valid one. Another key component of emotional intelligence is motivation. People with high emotional intelligence tend to be driven by internal goals and values rather than external rewards or pressure. They are able to maintain focus and persistence even when faced with emotional setbacks. Instead of letting frustration or disappointment derail their progress, they use emotions as fuel to push forward. This ability to stay motivated despite challenges is what helps individuals stay committed to personal growth, relationships, and long-term goals. Developing intrinsic motivation requires setting clear goals, finding meaning in daily activities, and focusing on the bigger picture rather than getting stuck in temporary emotional states. Social skills are also a crucial part of emotional intelligence. Managing emotions effectively is not just about handling personal emotions, but also about navigating interpersonal interactions smoothly. This includes conflict resolution, clear communication, and the ability to build strong relationships. People with strong social skills are able to express their emotions in a way that is assertive but not aggressive, ensuring that their needs are met without disregarding the feelings of others. They are also skilled at reading social cues, recognizing how their words and actions impact those around them. Strengthening social skills involves practicing active listening, improving communication techniques, and being mindful of how emotions influence. Developing emotional intelligence takes time and practice, but the benefits are significant. It leads to better emotional control, improved relationships, and greater overall well-being. By continuously working on self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, motivation, and social skills, individuals gain the ability to navigate emotions with confidence and respond to life's challenges with resilience and clarity. Controlling emotions does not mean suppressing them or pretending they do not exist. Instead, it is about developing the awareness and skills to navigate emotions in a healthy and constructive way. By recognizing and reframing negative thoughts, pausing before reacting, finding healthy outlets, and cultivating emotional intelligence, we gain the ability to respond to life's challenges with clarity and balance. Emotions are a powerful force. They can either control us or be harnessed to strengthen our resilience, improve our relationships, and guide us toward a more fulfilling life. The key is to develop a mindful and intentional approach to our emotions, allowing us to handle them with wisdom rather than letting them dictate our actions. With practice and patience, anyone can develop greater emotional control and create a more peaceful, empowered, and emotionally intelligent life.